share with thou fellow villagers the tale of Fort Beach Creek.
When I show mugs the I'm talking about this.
Money, power, women, drugs.
Oh my God.
But there's nowhere to go.
How does this actually work?
There's a big money sign.
They get launched at the time, they stick.
This is their gift, okay? They're built to be thrown like a lawn dart.
Mr. Jordan Belfort!
My name is Jordan Belfort. Not him. Me. That's right. I'm a former member of the middle class raised by two accountants in a tiny apartment in Bayside, Queens. The year I turned 26 as the head of my own brokerage firm, I made $49 million, which really pissed me off because it was $3 shy of $1 million a week. No. My Ferrari was white like Don Johnson's in Miami Vice, not red. See that humongous estate down there? That's my house. My wife, Naomi, the Duchess of Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, a former model and Miller Lite girl. Yeah, she was the one with my cock in her mouth in the Ferrari. So put your dick back in your pants. In addition to Naomi and my two perfect kids, I own a mansion, private jet, 6 cars, 3 horses, 2 vacation homes, and a 170-foot yacht. A company that our clients can believe in. A company that our clients can trust. A firm whose roots are so deeply embedded into Wall Street that our very founders sailed over on the Mayflower and chiseled the name Stratton Oakmont, targeting the wealthiest 1% of Americans. Talking about whales here. Moby fucking Dicks. And with this script, which is now your new harpoon, I'm gonna teach each and every one of you to be Captain fucking Ahab.
You're to look for a white whale.
What we're gonna do is this. First we pitch him Disney, AT&T, IBM, blue chip stocks exclusively. Companies these people know. Once we've suckered them in, we unload the dog shit, the pink sheets, the penny stocks, where we make the money. 50% commission, baby. Ooh. Now, the key to making money in a situation like this is to position yourself now before the settlement. Because by the time you read about it in the Wall Street Journal, it's already too late. Then you wait. You wait. And whoever speaks first loses.
Jordan Belfort grew up here in the middle-class suburb of Bayside, New York. It seems to me, even as a kid, you were destined to be an entrepreneur of some sort.
I learned my first marketing lesson at the age of 8, and then I started shoveling driveways after snowstorms at 10, did magic shows at 12.
Magic shows?
Magic shows, the amazing Belfort, yeah.
This desire to make money, did that sort of was a life force from very early, was it?
It was, yeah.
And it was Wall Street where Belfort would fulfill that burning ambition to become rich.
So when I walked into this brokerage firm, I had to show all my energy, and it's true. In the movie, they say I pitched the stock to my to the guy hiring me, and what they don't say is a really classic line. Is he looked at me, and goes, "Wow," because I've never. He goes, "Whoa, slow down, slow down." I never met anybody like you. He goes, either one of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to end up being the biggest broker in Wall Street history, or you're going to end up in jail. The guy was a genius. He was right on both accounts. So there you go.
By 1989, Belfort was running his own investment banking firm, Stratton Oakmont, here on Long Island. It was the setting for what would become a lifestyle of extraordinary excess.
Everybody,
I also gamble like a degenerate, I drink like a fish, and I love drugs. Yep. On a daily basis, I consume enough drugs to sedate Manhattan, Long Island, and Queens for a month. I take Quaaludes 10 to 15 times a day for my back pain, Adderall to stay focused, Xanax to take the edge off, pot to mellow me out, cocaine to wake me back up again, and morphine, well, because it's awesome. I held my bachelor party at the Mirage in Las Vegas. The flight there alone was a bacchanal. One last blowout for the gods before I settled down for good. 100 strat nights, 50 hookers, plus 50 more waiting once we landed. Oh, and the drugs. I mean, I tell you, our plane was like a pharmacy with wings. All told, the weekend cost me $2 million, including the cost of refurbishing the entire 28th floor.
It was a life of debauchery.
Totally.
And you smile when you say that.
Smile. I usually smile when I'm embarrassed about something.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's my way of, when I'm embarrassed about something, I'll give a little, you know. I mean, how can you not be a little bit embarrassed about it, you know?
Well, what embarrasses you most about that time?
I mean, listen, some of the stuff, with, you know, with the hookers and the and that sort of stuff. Obviously, now is, you know, a person sober for 17 years, you know, where I'm doing cocaine and off of, like as you saw in the movie, off of, you know, a hooker's derriere. Okay, so that sort of stuff obviously is a tad embarrassing to me, you know.
The Securities and Exchange Commission sent 2 lawyers down to review our files. So I set them up in our conference room, and I had it bugged, and the air conditioning turned up so high that it felt like Antarctica in there.
Is it always this cold in here?
I don't know. Then, while they were looking for a smoking gun in that room,
Cliff National is on fire. It's all about the
I was gonna fire off a bazooka in here, offering up our latest IPO. An IPO is an initial public offering. It's the first time a stock is offered for sale to the general population. Now, as the firm taking the company public, we set the initial sales price, then sold those shares right back to our friends. I know you're not following what I'm saying anyway, right? That's okay, that doesn't matter. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not. But we were making more money than we knew what to do with.
I think that the problem is a lot of the laws that were broken are in the gray and difficult to prove. So what happened basically is there was, you know, this incestuous relation between the government and Wall Street, where people that were in Wall Street went to the public sector. They changed the rules and allowed these loopholes, which then people on Wall Street jumped through. So while there was certainly some illegal acts, a lot of what happened was really more about taking advantage of loopholes. So it's in the gray. You know, there was some crimes committed for sure, but it's very difficult to prove.
So I recruited some of my hometown boys. Sea Otter, who sold meat and weed. Chester, who sold tires and weed. And Robbie, who sold anything he could get his hands on. Mostly weed.
Okay.
This is Brad. And Brad's the guy I really wanted. But he didn't go along with us. He was already making so much money selling Quaaludes, he'd become the Quaalude king of Bayside.
You were able to take imbeciles, basically, and turn them into cracking stockbrokers who could make millions. And you gave them a script, which was ultimately to show them how to lie, wasn't it?
The idea of having the script wasn't to teach them how to lie. It was teach them not to lie. When I walked into that firm...
But it was about teaching them how to manipulate.
No, it wasn't like that. It was, no, you see, the scripts, the sales itself.
But what you were wanting them to do was to sell and
to close deals.
To close the deal. But to close the deal quite often meant that you had to really manipulate the client. Well, that's ultimately what ended up happening.
If Jordan Belfort is that, you know, he's a sleazebag. You know, he ran a boiler room. Boiler rooms don't just prey on wealthy people, which is the impression that Jordan Belfort has tried to create. The nature of boiler rooms is, you know, they just have rooms full of phones where people with no ethics read scripts and just keep dialing phone numbers. And the people who typically fall for boiler room scams, in my experience, which is extensive of investigating these, are, you know, the elderly and other vulnerable people. We have 2 speakers, Joel Cohen, who was the US prosecutor who prosecuted Mr. Belfort, and Gregory Coleman, the FBI agent.
Holy shit!
This is it. Don't get scared now.
I clean up my act, I did rehab, I'm a TV personality, I'm sober for 2 years, and this happens. Rugrat goes and gets busted down in Miami.
I'm Swiss, I'm not communist.
And guess who the fuck with? Sorrel.
You're gonna beat me? No. Yeah, I know your country, you're gonna beat me. Yeah.
I mean, what are the fucking odds? There had to be 10,000 Swiss bankers in Geneva, and Rugrat gets the one dumb enough to get himself arrested on U.S. soil?
I know.
Even more fucked was that he got busted for shit that had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to fucking do with me. Something about laundering drug money through offshore boat racing and a guy named Rocky Aoki. You know, the founder of Benihana? Benihana? Benny fucking Hana? Benny fucking Hana? Why? Why, God? Why would you be so cruel as to choose a chain of fucking hibachi restaurants to take me down?
The saddest night of my life, for sure, was the night before I went to jail. I had to tell the kids. It wasn't like the movie, they took me away, I reported for jail, right? And my wife and I, my ex-wife, we sat down with the kids on it was a Thursday night, and we called the kids into the living room. They're like, what's up? And I started telling my kids, you know, I said, listen, you know, a long time ago, you know, that when I had that big company and I made some mistakes, and I didn't get even, as soon as I started getting even close to it, my daughter starts bursting out, hysterically crying, and my son was very young then. She just starts crying because my daughter's crying, and it's this terrible, like this just gut-wrenching scene where my daughter's like, no, she's all about loud, and the kids are hugging me, and we're just like, just the worst thing you can imagine. You mean, tell your kids that daddy made a mistake, now he's got to go away, you know? And, you know, I was guilty. I couldn't say I was trapped with this. I did it. I made a mistake. I took some great skills that I made the mistakes and I deserved to be there. So I had no one to blame but myself. I made the mistakes, and it's very difficult when you have to come to terms with that, right? And I think when people watch the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, it's important that they look at that movie and say, you know what? I get it. It's glamorous and it's fun, you know, because I'm not going to deny that it was fun. It was glamorous, yeah. But there's something called balance in there, that when you are that character, that never ends well. It just never ends well. And one question that I get asked all the time, you know, how was I able to stay positive and motivated in what was certainly the worst time of my life? I mean, I lost all my money, I lost my freedom, I lost my children for a time, my wife bottomed out, right? And I said, you know, I think about it, I said, you know, here's the secret. When I was in jail, in those moments, you know, and the worst moments of all were at nighttime, when you're in your bunk and people are asleep and you're alone with your thoughts and you could just really get negative. And the answer is that in bed, when I was alone with my thoughts, I would close my eyes and I would visualize the Benihana.
Thousands of tears later.
Boom! I'm back.
That's great.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Guilty, and you want sympathy. The emotion that empowers you and allows you to redeem yourself is remorse, not guilt. The way to create a millionaire is really quick.
Belfort
And I say yes.
draws big crowds for his so-called ethical persuasion lectures.
Some people do this.
Touting business success.
I do this. I'm not going to leave it up to chance. Hi, I'm Jordan Belfort, author of The Wolf of Wall Street. Of all the inner game skills or attributes I possess, the one that's caused me the most pain in my life, probably more than all the others combined, are my values, or more accurately, my old values. You know what my number one value in life was? Is money.
Money doesn't just buy you a better life, better food, better cars, better pussy. It also makes you a better person. You can give generously to the church or political party of your choice. You can save the fucking spotted owl with money.
And where he's making serious money is here in Brisbane's northern suburbs at a training company called Face to Face.
I'd never seen that much money in cash before. And Jordan used to just give money out like it was candy.
For months, we've been investigating just why the Wolf of Wall Street would get involved with an Australian government-subsidised training company. Was it another Jordan Belfort masterminded criminal scam, we asked? In truth, what we've uncovered is far more disturbing. The government scheme that he and his cronies are milking is so wide open to abuse, so full of holes, that the wolf doesn't even need to commit any crimes to take taxpayers for millions of dollars.
1 million. Money, power, women, drugs.
Makes you very attractive.
Thank you.
The end of the fucking wall.
I've never read an account of anything more embarrassing in my life.
Today, Jordan Belfort lives a very comfortable life with his fiancée, Anne. He says he's a different person, sober, honest, and ethical. And that 100% of all money he receives from his books and the movie will be given to his victims.
And they all lived happily ever after.
Meanwhile...
And there you have it.